We're hoping to paint the countryside red today, with a city creative chasing her rural dream.
Nice.
This is a wonderful kitchen. Love the kitchen. Love the kitchen.
Nice.
The homes we visit are certainly enough to whet her appetite.
I think it's absolutely delicious.
Do you?
And one property package even comes with boyfriend included.
Every facility you would like is here,
Yeah.
See?
plus me.
There you go, the added bonus. The cherry on top of the cake. Today, we're in Hampshire, in the South Downs National Park, the newest national park in the UK, which this year celebrates its 10th birthday. Many happy returns. And later on in the show, we'll be back to find out what the plans are here for the next decade and beyond. But in the meantime, here's a little taste of what this beautiful park and the county of Hampshire has to offer.
Located in the south of England, Hampshire borders 5 other counties and is fringed by the shores of the Solent. Here, the average price of a detached home is 34% higher than the national figure at just over £526,000. But that's not to say the county is off limits to house buyers with smaller budgets.
The further south you go towards sort of like the Portsmouth regions, you do tend to find lower price property. The closer you are to the A3 links to get up to London, you do find it can be a little bit more expensive. However, there are some really beautiful areas, specifically little sort of villages with character properties.
For many, Hampshire's road and rail connections are also a big draw.
From Fareham, London's about an hour and a half on the train. I'm a big lover of the West End, so it's a great location to just pop down to London for the day, come back. You have options of 2 smaller cities, which are Portsmouth and Southampton, and they both have lovely coastal walks.
And for those spending their working week in the cities, there are so many places to find peace and quiet come the weekend.
Cycling and walking, the Clarendon Way, the South Downs Way, all sorts of rivers and byways that you can get lost in.
And we've got the New Forest on our doorstep.
Nowhere else tempts us yet.
Well, not yet.
Not only is Hampshire a beautiful place to visit, but you may end up leaving here slightly better off than when you arrived, because apparently it's one of the best places in the country to find buried treasure. Over the last 12 months alone, over 2,000 artefacts have been dug out of the ground here in Hampshire, making it a hot destination not just for aspiring treasure hunters, but for a house hunter as well.
London is not my home. I was brought up in Dorset. I'm a country girl. So time is right now. You know, I've thought about it for a very long time, moving London. And now I feel I've made that decision. It's time to go back to my roots.
Professional artist and yoga teacher Eve moved to London from the West Country 25 years ago. She lives in West London in a 2-bedroom garden flat.
London's amazing in that it's got so much to offer, but sometimes it can be a bit exhausting. You know, there's so many people here rushing. Everyone's always rushing, that's the thing. And I'm longing for the peace and quiet of the countryside. Just that inspiration of being outside.
3.5 years ago, she met marketing director Keith, and it wasn't long before romance blossomed.
Well, we actually met through a dating service. And I fell for him because A, he had this beautiful dog with him, and B, he'd bought me flowers that he picked from his garden in the country, and he'd put them in a jam jar, and I thought, heaven.
It was a
heaven.
gherkin jar.
It was a gherkin jar, there we are.
Having enjoyed many happy weekends together at Keith's Hampshire home, the tug of love is now pulling Eve towards the county too.
Eve's definitely making the right choice in leaving London. I mean, there are lots of things that tie her here, but I think there's more in the country for her. She kind of belongs there more.
This summer, Eve took a break from London and temporarily moved in with Keith. And it was during this time she discovered the positive effects of rural life on her working life.
With Eve in the country full-time, it'll be brilliant for her painting. She's done some amazing stuff this summer.
In London, my art tends to be much more about people And in the country, I've done lots of landscapes, lots of gardens, flowers, and I see it just every time I go on the weekend. There's an immediate calmness. I'm much more creative.
Eve will still need to return to London on occasion for work, but otherwise she's ready to embrace a much more rural lifestyle.
A lot of people have said to me, since I've been spending more time in the country now on weekends, that I seem to be much happier, so it's clearly the place to be.
After 25 years of city life, Eve has decided the time is now right for a bit of country life and for her art to be inspired by the peace and tranquility of nature and its surroundings. And with views like this, who can blame her? And with Keith, expert help on board, we've lined up some fantastic Hampshire homes to show her. And if the wind's in the right direction, with a little bit of escape to the country magic, she might even buy one of them.
Eve has a generous budget of £750,000 to find a period home with 3 bedrooms and lots of natural light. She'd like a separate studio space, either within the property or in a separate outbuilding, and a garden big enough in which to practice her daily yoga. Finally, it should be within a village not too far from Keith's home in West Meon. We've lined up a fabulous selection of Hampshire homes, but I won't be revealing the asking price until the end of each tour. Last up will be the Mystery House, a property with grand proportions and a few of its own artistic touches. I'm eager to get going, but first I'm getting acquainted with Eve and Keith because it's not just the start of our property search that we're celebrating today.
Eve and Keith, so lovely to meet you both. And I have to start off by saying happy birthday, Eve.
Thank you very much.
What a way to spend your birthday here in Hampshire. Hopefully we're going to find you a house. Wouldn't that be the best birthday present ever?
Indeed, yes.
So are you looking forward to this house hunt?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
Why do you want to move to Hampshire? Is it Keith? Is it Keith's dog, Mister? Or is it the beautiful landscape? Come on, be honest, or is it all three?
It's the dog.
You knew that, didn't you, Keith?
It was coming.
It was coming.
And I accept that. It's part of the package.
No, but look, I mean, need you ask? Look at this exquisite countryside.
Did you think Eve was ever going to make the move?
I wanted her to. Coming out on weekends, Friday night traffic from West London is not good. So very much looking forward to it.
A whole change of scenery.
Let's hope we find a house.
Shall we get started?
Let's go.
Come on, follow me.
Brilliant.
The first stop on our Hampshire house hunt is in the east of the county in the village of Stroud. A 5-minute drive away is the market town of Petersfield, where facilities include supermarkets and a range of independent cafes for Eve to enjoy. Another advantage here is great transport links, with direct trains connecting to London in just 1 hour and 15 minutes. Portsmouth Harbour is also just a 30-minute train ride away. 2 miles west is the village of Stroud, home to the 7 Stars pub and, in my opinion, a 5-star home.
So, may I introduce you to our first property here in Hampshire? We are showing you a Victorian cottage.
Terribly exciting. And a beautiful magnolia tree in front of it. It looks quite small. But we never know.
Yeah, no, I like
Sometimes...
that. Dot, dot, dot.
Yep.
We'll leave that
Dot,
there.
dot, dot.
How well do you know this area then, Keith?
I know a little. I know that just down the end of the road is the most fabulous walks, uninterrupted countryside for miles and miles. We can walk home from here about 3 hours.
Can you really? So it is only house number 1, but we like to start off on a high. Are you ready to take a look inside?
Very ready.
Come on then.
Let's go.
This former bricklayer's cottage is located within the boundaries of the South Downs National Park, which means it benefits from some truly stunning views. It may look compact from the outside, but recent extension work to this end of terrace delivers more here than meets the eye.
So do come on through. You've got a little ante-room there. It could be a library, it could be a music room. Then you come into sort of the main sitting room.
Yes, exciting. Well, it's light.
Which is good.
Which is very important.
What are your first impressions, Keith?
It's lovely, but Eve's not in love with it. I can tell straight away.
Can you? See, I think this house has potential. Let's see, we'll keep going and see if I can sway you.
Wonderful.
So you've got a separate dining area here that leads us through to this kitchen, which is an extension.
Nice.
This is a wonderful kitchen. Love the kitchen. Love
Very
the kitchen.
nice.
Maybe I could just live in the kitchen.
And just have a little peek at that view.
That's very special.
That's extremely special. We're getting there, Nikki.
We've warmed up a little
Yes.
bit, haven't we?
We have.
Do you
The
think?
house is in steps inside the kitchen, the garden.
Yeah, it's going up.
Going up. I love the kitchen because we've got windows on all sides and the roof. I have to have light. I get deeply depressed if I'm in a dark place. I love the ceiling and the beams and the stone floors. It's fab.
Great. Well, let's continue. Let's go upstairs and see what you make of the bedrooms.
Thank you.
On the first floor, a family bathroom and a single bedroom overlook the rear garden. 2 further bedrooms are located at the front of the house, including the largest of the rooms on this level.
So, this is the main bedroom.
Gosh.
This is a nice room. I think they've done nice things with the house, but its overall structure is to some extent limiting for what Eve would most like.
We're getting
a bit more space for her to expand her arms and.
But I haven't shown you everything. We've got 3 bedrooms on this floor, but upstairs there's a further 2 quite large bedrooms, which, if you extended out, say with dormer windows, would have fantastic views of the South Downs. You could actually, with a little bit of work, make it even larger.
Gosh, well, that's an enormous surprise. And the house from the outside doesn't actually look that big.
No. It's deceiving, isn't it? If you wouldn't mind, Keith, leading the way, let's head outside, because there's one more thing I want to show you.
In the rear garden, the bordered lawn is south-facing with views stretching to Butser Hill and the Queen Elizabeth Country Park. If the chance to step straight from your garden into a national park wasn't tempting enough, there's also an outbuilding that could potentially function as a separate studio space for Eve.
You know, in the movies they say the money shot. This is the money shot. Isn't it tremendous?
Spectacular.
This is beautiful. It's a lovely garden and a fantastic view.
Yeah. Your top budget is £750,000. What are we thinking? What's the asking price?
Well, it's 5 bedrooms, which is a hell of a lot, so that makes me think it's got to be more.
Is it above?
720.
So you're going below?
I don't know.
£720,000? Keith?
I'd probably stay close to that, about £750,000.
Asking price is £600,000. Yeah.
No.
I was the same.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm quite shocked.
Yeah, it's good value.
Now you know that piece of information, why don't you have a wander around and I'll come and find you when you're ready.
Lovely.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thanks.
£150,000 under budget, this is a deceptively spacious end-of-terrace cottage which comes with a bright extended kitchen and a total of 5 bedrooms. The second floor bedrooms could serve as a studio space for Eve to work, as could the outbuilding, and wherever she chose to paint, she'd be inspired by the beautiful views of the South Downs which surround the property.
First impressions from the outside was the house seemed quite small, but then actually, as soon as we walked in, it kind of grew and grew and grew and grew. I haven't totally fallen in love with it. I adore the garden and I love this kitchen. The rest of the house, we'll see.
I think it's a lovely house. The view from the garden is spectacular. I have my own opinion, but I sort of put it to one side because Eve has to love it, and I know when she finds the house that she wants, you'll be able to see it in her face. She will grab something if it takes her by the heartstrings.
Ah, so have you seen enough?
Yes.
So a really strong start, I think.
Yep.
But we do have more to show you. So shall we hit the road?
Good start.
Let's go.
Painters and artists have always taken inspiration from the natural world, but one Hampshire resident is taking nature and, quite literally, turning it into art. Jan Griffiths is known as a land artist. With a handful of volunteers, she's created the Little Forest Land Art Team, a community scheme that creates works of art directly in the landscape using organic materials such as rocks and twigs. Knowing that Eve is looking to turn her artistic attention to more rural subjects, we've sent her and Keith to the southeast of the county to lend a hand.
Jan, look at this. My goodness.
Oh, thank you.
This is amazing. It's a little house. What is it exactly?
Well, it's a willow dome. We built it about 4 years ago, and it's one of the land art structures. This one was built mainly using hazel and then living willow, so it is a living structure. Every year it needs to be rethreaded in and trimmed to maintain it.
And what exactly is land art?
Well, land art was termed as a phrase in the 1960s by a group of Americans who basically were wanting to do something different to the traditional making art and putting it in a white gallery space, but also a movement to being back in touch with nature.
How long have you been doing land art, Jan?
Well, I'm a ceramicist and I've been doing open studios events for many, many years. It was only about 4 years ago we started the land art project. It was just something that grew organically, so to speak.
And do you do all this on your own, Jan? No, you've got a few people to help.
Oh, I couldn't do it on my own. We've got about 12 volunteers all together, and they work on their own projects or they work on a group project. In fact, if you want to go off and have an explore, you'll be able to meet some of them and see what activities they're up to.
Great.
Find out a bit more, and then I'll meet you back here afterwards.
Wonderful.
OK, see you soon.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Jan. See you later.
Bye.
The site itself is made up of 3 acres of meadow and 24 acres of woodland which surround Jan's studio. Artists and gardeners work together to transform the area into an immersive and relaxing environment which provides the backdrop for many artistic collaborations. Adrian Mundy is a co-founder of the project.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm just working on my piece here, clearing all the leaves from around it. I don't know if you'd like to help join me.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Gosh. Oh, what a treat. And what are you making?
Oh, this is a sculpture that's been here a few years, and I'm just clearing around the space to make it more defined.
Okay.
To make it emerge again.
There. I chose this spot because of the plants and then made the structure to sort of frame it and then cleared the space around.
How often are you here?
We come here about twice a month, the team, meeting up to do our own little pieces, and then we open up for art in the garden twice a year for the general public to come around and look around, see the artworks, get inspired, and then hopefully they'll go on and make their own.
Jan has arranged for Eve and Keith to get involved in what will eventually become a new piece of art. Using the branches that were trimmed from the willow dome earlier today, they're going to create a hurdle structure.
So if you could take the end and just place it on
Put
top.
that through that one.
That's it,
behind.
that's lovely. So that's under and in front, and then one behind.
Eve and Keith then begin to strengthen the structure by adding more branches.
Beautiful colours, these branches, aren't they?
So behind on this side.
Ah, wait, hold on. Let me take that.
Oops, a daisy.
Ooh,
Not
almost
that
excellent.
How are you doing down there?
Yeah, I'm fine. I've got
Okay, that's a
plenty.
good one.
Good.
OK, that's lovely. That's starting to look more artistic now and a bit more stable.
How are we doing?
Jan, it's looking rather wonderful, isn't it?
It
What do you think?
certainly is. What's going to happen now is I'll continue working on it, building it up a bit higher, securing the ends, and hopefully this will be in my next exhibition.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
With a little patience and imagination, Eve and Keith have contributed towards what will soon become a woodland masterpiece. But for now, we're setting the scene for our next property. We're staying within the boundaries of the South Downs and venturing to the village of West Meon. It's a place I suspect Eve might already be familiar with because the property we've come to see is less than 100 yards from where Keith lives. Therefore, it's best I leave the introductions to the man himself.
So, I think this is a first, certainly for me. I don't think I've ever brought people to see a property where one of them currently lives in the village. Keith, take it away. Tell us the merits of living
Okay,
here.
well, we've got a really wonderful community village shop behind us. We have a pub about 50 or 60 yards away, the Thomas Lord, which is
Lovely.
fine ales and food, etc., etc. Church up there, school, village hall, sports club. Every facility you would like in the village is here,
See?
plus me.
There you go. The added bonus. The cherry on top of the cake.
Yes.
And I'm hoping you're going to love this house as much as the village.
It's hilarious.
Beautiful
It's such
property.
a pretty cottage, and I have to say I've never been inside, so this is very exciting.
Good. Do we start the tour?
Let's.
Please.
This handsomely appointed cottage with traditional lead lattice windows is over 300 years old. It's been sympathetically refurbished by the current owners and is packed with a wealth of period features, nowhere more so than in the first of the 2 reception rooms. Here we find exposed brickwork, timber beams and a wonderful inglenook fireplace.
So this is a Grade 2 listed 17th century house.
I think it's absolutely delicious.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you love beams or not like beams?
I love beams, absolutely, yes. Gorgeous, and I'm not very tall, so it doesn't matter. I think it's gorgeous.
Lots of light coming in the front.
Does it feel homely as you walk through
It
the
feels
door?
very homely.
Keith?
I like it because it's a lovely house, but I actually quite like the idea of Eve being here. Could be very good.
Oh, my heart's just melted. My heart's just melted. But in all seriousness, I mean, how close, ideally, did you 2 want to live?
I would have said as close as possible, quote unquote.
Let's take a look at the kitchen and see what you think about that. So, as you come up the steps, if you just look at the floor, you'll see that's the cellar.
Gosh,
So, masses of storage.
it's a lovely kitchen and room to eat. Pretty, Nikki, pretty.
I think it's lovely, and I think it's perfect for Eve because it's beams, it's cottagey, but it's also beautifully appointed.
If you just look over your shoulders, you've got a huge utility room.
Beautiful.
Got fitted cupboards all the way down, storage. So how are we doing so far?
This house is doing hugely well. I think it's beautiful.
We're in cahoots. We want you to buy this house. Why don't you 2 go upstairs on your own this time, and I'll meet you in the garden when you're ready.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ooh, it's like they've lived here forever. It's going rather well.
A second reception room is located opposite the main living space, now in use as a child's playroom. Heading upstairs, the main bathroom features a roll-top bath with a separate shower, and there's a total of 4 bedrooms, including the main one, which has an exquisite vaulted ceiling.
Love that.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's like a little cosy kind of 4-poster bed thing, isn't it?
Very 17th century.
It's just lovely.
I think it's going really well. I did get cold feet, I'm going to admit, as we walked up the road. I thought, is it too close to Keith for both of them? It's a beautiful, very old house with the beams. And is that what Eve wanted or not?
Little doll's house bedroom.
And then we walked through the door and she's just fallen in love with it. And most importantly, Keith adores the idea of her living practically on the doorstep.
So you've got 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
Theoretically, this could be a studio. Is it big enough?
Yep. If I store my canvases somewhere else, this could work
And
well,
that's
actually.
northern window, which is
Is it?
perfect. Yes.
Well, even more perfect. Great. This is going to be my studio.
Decision made. The last place to show them is the garden, which is beautifully maintained and fully enclosed, offering a great level of privacy. Hopefully that makes it an ideal space for Eve to roll out her yoga mat on a sunny morning.
So in a way, we have to finish on the garden, don't we, and the outside space. But standing here, just look at that property. What do we think of property?
Love it.
She loves it. I can see her in it.
The garden isn't huge, but I think, Keith, you've got something up your sleeve to share, haven't you?
Eve's quite keen on growing vegetables, and this garden isn't big enough. But we've got allotments, another local facility up the road. They're available, I think, and...
That's a very good idea.
See, a double-hander. We're both showing you around this property. Have you any idea what the price is?
Well, I do, because I have seen it on the internet. It is £750,000.
Well, you are correct. The asking price is £750,000.
I didn't look at it because on the particulars the garden was so small, but it is divine inside.
Have we changed your mind, I wonder? Have we
just
changed...
might have done.
So why don't you go and have a little chat together, And then when you're ready, come and find me. I'll be out the front.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Off you go.
Right.
Thank you.
I'm actually getting quite excited because just to see them both walk through the door and love this house, it does make it all worthwhile. You know, Eve wants this new life in the country, and just as importantly, she wants to be close to Keith. I wonder if this is the answer. I truly hope so.
Right on budget, this 17th century Grade 2 listed cottage is full of features that seem to have won our house hunter's heart. The additional 4th bedroom could be used as a studio space, and the nearby allotments mean there's no need to put her veg garden dreams on hold either. All in all, a pretty nice birthday surprise for Eve.
This is a surprise, yes. I wouldn't have thought that you would bring me quite so close to Keith. And what a joy.
I think this is too good to be true in terms of distance. And the boxes that it doesn't tick, parking, garden, studio, can, I think, be dealt with if Eve continues to feel so strongly about the actual house.
I'm really excited about the house. I think it's absolutely lovely. I just have to be happy with that little garden, but I think the house is divine.
That was a good house tour. Well, I want you to dream about this property tonight because we do have one more to show you both tomorrow morning, which of course is our mystery house. Let's go.
Perfect.
It's day 2 of our property search in Hampshire, helping professional artist Eve from London find a new home with the help of her partner Keith. Coming up, a mystery house has Eve feeling sociable.
Lots of parties in here, probably.
Whilst a milestone birthday for one of the county's national parks gives me a reason to celebrate.
You have brought me to the most incredible spot. What a vista.
If, like Eve, you're also planning to relocate to rural Hampshire but aren't searching with a similar budget, rest assured there's still a wide range of wonderful property options to choose from. This brick and flint built end of terrace also sits in the charming village of West Meon. With 2 bedrooms and a private enclosed garden, it's on the market for an asking price of £350,000. Hampshire's road and rail links to London, Southampton and Portsmouth make it a great option for renting commuters. This detached 1-bedroom cottage comes with allocated parking and is located in the village of Clanfield. It's available to rent for £795 per calendar month. Or perhaps you're after a break from your daily commute to work. If so, why not swap the red buses of the city for Olive, the double-decker in the country? With rural views from the upper deck and a fully equipped kitchen down below, it sleeps up to 5 people and is priced from £160 per night.
So yesterday was not only Eve's birthday, but we showed her and Keith a charming cottage in Keith's home village, which they adored. Now, we did wonder whether they could bear to be such close neighbours, and it seems they truly can. So we finished yesterday's Hampshire house hunt on a definite high. But today, it's all about the mystery house, and we think this is going to be a property that really suits Eve's sense of style.
Our mystery house is taking us east, towards the West Sussex border and the village of Liss. Facilities here include a post office, mini supermarket, a cafe and a community centre that's home to more than 30 social groups. A mainline railway connects to London in less than an hour and 20 minutes, whilst Keith's home is around a 20-minute drive away. Another positive of this well-positioned village is nearby Liss Forest. The attractive woodland is just half an hour's walk from today's mystery house, so well worth a trip en route.
Keith, have you ever done this walk?
I don't know the woods at all. I know Liss and around here, but I've never walked here. Amazing bridge.
Yeah. See, we've got this view that Eve's going to buy a dog, and we thought this would just be the perfect dog walk every morning. What do you think?
And a river.
Yes, the River Rother.
Heaven.
So why don't you take a moment, you can explore, and I'm going to get the mystery house ready, so I'll see you in a minute.
Thank you.
At the start of her search, Eve told us that she wanted a spacious home full of natural light that would allow her room to paint her portraits. She also wanted a large garden for her daily yoga practice. But yesterday, Eve's heart was stolen by that pretty character cottage, despite it falling short on some of her needs. So today, we're going to put her true priorities to the test.
Now, this house was built around 1895, we believe. It would have been a huge manor house, separated into 3 separate properties in the 1970s. But just look at the size of it, how high the ceilings are. And for me, this house has an arts and crafts feel, which I think is really going to appeal to Eve.
Having familiarised themselves with the surrounding area, I can now reveal all to Eve and Keith.
So a very different proposition with our mystery house. It is this property here, but it is one section of it.
Well, it's kind of all a little bit different, isn't it? There are lots of little different things to look at. Old bits, wooden bits, white bits, tiles. Interesting.
And Keith, at the beginning, you mentioned about Eve wanting to walk into a house and being able to stretch out her arm, and she needs that expanse all around her. You definitely get it with this house. So should we take a look inside?
Let's.
Come on, please.
This semi-detached late Victorian home is the largest of the properties we've seen on our house hunt, and its high ceilings and bright interior could be ideal for an artist in residence.
I've told you how large this property is, and then I'm probably bringing you to one of the smaller rooms, but I like what they've done with it.
Yes. But lovely windows in the kitchen.
So would you change the kitchen at all, do you think?
I quite like the kitchen. I would paint it, just to freshen it up.
What do you think, Keith?
Hasn't got a little table.
Yeah, for one.
Yeah.
So just for one, OK? Not for
no
two.
friends.
But we do have a dining room next door, so you're allowed in there. How about that? So the kitchen's getting the thumbs up?
Yes, 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 yes.
Let's see what you make of the rest of the property. So you've got a huge reception room here, which you can access either via the dining area or the hallway.
Well, it's a lovely big room. Lots of parties in here, probably.
You like the high ceilings?
Love the high ceilings. And lots of wall space for paintings. And the floorboards are lovely.
I quite like this style.
I like it. I love the space. I'm just not sure about outside the approach and what's around it.
Bit of a curate's egg. Good in parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, OK, I'll take that. I'll take that.
My attempts to paint a picture of what life could be like in this grand home seem to be falling slightly short so far. Let's see if the upstairs can turn things around. Offering 3 bedrooms in total, 2 are located on the first floor and benefit from their own en-suites.
Big room, nice window, good view of the garden. Dog bed, very important.
An attic conversion has created a further double bedroom, which is served by a separate bathroom.
Oh, little attic room. Well, it's quite sweet, but it needs quite a lot of work, I think, this house. For me, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want to do all that.
Interesting. And as I say, good in parts.
It does need a little bit of work. Bit of a project. She could do it, but I don't think she's fallen totally in love with this house.
Eve, look at the bathroom.
Oh, my Lord, a yellow bath.
Tom's had some fun in here.
I'm not sure I could go for the yellow bath.
All artists need a splash of colour in their home. Turning our attention outside, the front garden is mostly shingle with off-street parking and a separate garage. At the rear, the elegant drawing room provides direct access onto a private courtyard patio with a substantial lawned garden beyond.
So here is our garden. Can I see you doing your yoga first thing in the morning?
Well, it's very overlooked.
It is my next door neighbour there, yes.
So I think yoga would have to be in the house.
Oh, that's a bit of a shame. Should we try a price on this one?
I'm not confident, but I'm guessing £700,000.
Eve?
£650,000.
The asking price is, as Keith got it so right, £700,000.
Well done, you.
Not getting sort of the idea that this is the house for you. Would that be right?
I don't think so.
No, OK.
I'm not really excited about it.
OK. Why don't you have another wander around anyway? It's always a good thing to do, and I'll catch up with you when you're ready. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
£50,000 under budget, this late 19th century conversion has retained much of its Victorian charm with great proportions and tons of natural light. There are 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms and a large garden, all on the edge of a pretty South Downs village.
I quite like the outside of this house, so the first impression was that it was going to be very interesting.
I'm not so sure about the surroundings, actually. I feel, well, A, a little bit overlooked in the garden, and B, quite a lot of houses around. This room is fantastic. I mean, some of the rooms are big and light and high ceilings, which are wonderful. But the house as a whole doesn't feel quite right to me. It's just a feeling.
We've shown you some very intriguing properties, haven't we, over the last few days? So why don't you take a moment? You can have a chat about what you've seen, and then we'll meet up again. How does that sound?
Perfect.
Lovely. Come on.
Thank you.
Covering 3 counties and stretching over 100 miles from Winchester all the way to the Eastbourne coast, the South Downs only received its status as a national park in 2010. As the southernmost chalk ridge in the UK, the park's varied topography includes heathlands, grasslands and woodlands, and is home to an estimated 2 million people, as well as countless animal and wildlife species. But with such a diverse landscape comes a whole lot of responsibilities and challenges. So I'm meeting Director of Countryside Management, Andrew Lee, who's offered to give me the lowdown on running a national park.
Wow, Andrew, you have brought me to the most incredible spot. What a vista.
It's pretty stunning, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's a good day to see this wonderful bit of Hampshire countryside, which is now the South Downs National Park.
Well, I have to say happy birthday. 10 years old, officially. But how long does it actually take to get that status granted?
The South Downs campaign started in the 1930s,
Wow.
before the war. And then post-war, there was a lot of building pressure in parts of the Downs, post-war reconstruction. But it wasn't chosen as a national park then, along with the Peak Districts and some of the others, because the landscape had changed a lot. But then there was another campaign at the back end of the 20th century, and that's what led to the national park designation, because people realised how special it was.
Tell me about the future. Is it looking rosy?
It's good, but there's always big challenges. We want to restore nature, put wildlife back into the Downs the way it was perhaps 50 years ago. We've been doing wildlife projects, so we've been bringing things like barn owls and water voles back into the South Downs, helping farmland birds and wonderful chalk grassland flowers and butterflies.
I'm sure you've got lots of projects underway. Are we able to have a look at a few of them now?
Yeah, let's go and do it.
Wonderful.
One ongoing project is Trees for the Downs, an initiative that aims to restore trees that have been lost due to pests and diseases. Woodland Officer Bob Epsom can tell me more about what's involved.
We're facing huge amounts of losses of trees. We have done for the last few decades with the loss of the elm tree, and now ash trees have been threatened by ash dieback disease. So what we're looking at is to replace these trees that are declining with some new trees.
Incredible. How many trees are you going to plant then for the first start of the scheme?
This winter we're just looking at just over 8,000 trees.
That's a huge amount to start off with. What have you got planned for today?
Today we're planting the first few trees of the Trees for the Downs project, just along the lane here.
Am I allowed to plant one with you?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Schemes like this are vital to ensure the survival of our native species.
How deep a hole do you want me to dig?
These are quite small trees, so it doesn't need to be too far. So what I just suggest is sort of digging a slot into the ground.
Okay.
So
What are we planting?
This is a field maple. It's not a huge tree, but it's a very pretty tree. Lovely colour in autumn, very good for wildlife.
Is it going to fit
So
in
what
there?
I'll do is I can just pop it in.
Looks quite happy there.
To protect the sapling from inquisitive wildlife such as rabbits and deer, plastic casing is added which will remain in place for up to 10 years.
So if I come back in 2 or 3 years' time, I might just see the very top poking through. Ideally, this tree is going to be here for the next 100, 200 years.
Yeah, we hope so.
How fantastic. Well, thank you for letting me be a little part of it.
This tree planting initiative is an exciting way to mark the 10th birthday of the South Downs National Park. Just 7,999 more trees to go.
So over the last few days on our property hunt with Eve and Keith, I think there was one clear winner. But was it a brief love affair with our historic cottage or an enduring romance? I'm going to go and ask them. Oh, what a delightful few days we've had.
Wonderfully beautiful.
And look at that, on our final day, Mr. comes to join us. And I'm just wondering, out of all the properties that we have shown you, is there one that has really, really taken your fancy?
Yes.
Which one? Come on, tell us.
The cottage in Westmead, I thought was heavenly.
And how many yards is it from Keith's house?
Hop, skip and a jump.
We could actually build a little tunnel so we could walk under the gardens.
A smuggler's tunnel.
Yes.
So I know it really took your fancy, and Keith, you loved it equally as well, didn't you, as soon as you walked through the door?
Yes, it's similar age to my house, but completely different. And everything that Eve doesn't like about my house, she's going to love about that house.
Oh.
It's really perfect for Eve.
What is the truth? Do you think you're going to take it further?
I would love to put in an offer.
Would you?
I would love to. If somebody buys my flat today.
Well, we've got to keep our fingers crossed, you know. Let's just talk about that property, because it came as a surprise, didn't it?
It did come as a surprise, and I hadn't looked at it purposefully because I thought the garden was tiny. And it is tiny. But actually, the house was so gorgeous that, you know, other things disappear. It's rather like falling in love, isn't it?
It is.
When you've got rose-tinted spectacles, and hopefully it stays like that forever.
It has been such a delightful few days, and we might have found you your birthday home. How about that? What a present.
Very grateful. Thank you.
Eve's dream was to find a rural retreat close to her boyfriend Keith's home. Little did we know that that historic cottage in his village would be the one. We just hope she now manages to sell her property in London so that she and Keith can be together and start their new lives together here in the Hampshire countryside. Oh, how wonderful would that be? And we'll see you again very soon.
Eve is still very much hoping to move forward with the purchase of her dream home in Westmead as soon as she's able to sell her London property. We wish her the best of luck. If you would like to escape to the country in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales or England and need our help, you can apply online at bbc.co.uk/take part.
With the pandemic putting Greta's plans to change the world on hold, she finds other ways to raise awareness at 9. And a funny and fair